There is the difference. Karen makes great conversation. I make grandiose speeches. So, I want to be sure those of you who need to be comfortable, get comfortable. If you need a chair or something like that, for just a few minutes. I'll try not to make this too terribly long. There are some people here who have known Karen and I since before we were married. As a matter of fact, there was one special person I was going to recognize, but unfortunately, I don't think she is here. This particular lady is someone that I saw or met before I met anybody else in this room, including Karen, because Lindsay was driving the car when they pulled up next to us at 52nd Meridian that summer in 1962. I was riding in the passenger seat. My buddy Jim was driving. We caught a red light at 52nd. I happened to look over, and there's this very attractive blonde only about a foot away from me because she was driving her car and our windows were down, and she's smiling at me. And I'm thinking, what great good fortune. We happen to catch a light. I look over, and there's a very attractive blonde smiling at me. Then I looked past her, and I could tell there was somebody else in the car with her, but about this high, I could barely see her. And I thought, my luck, I meet the woman of my life, and she's got her 12-year-old sister. Anyway, being the cool guy that I am, I couldn't think of anything to say. So while we are sitting there waiting for the light to change, I started singing a song that was popular back then by Don and Juan called "What's Your Name?" And Lindsay was quite impressed. She was so impressed she gunned the engine, ran the light, and was heading on up the street. Well, that really got our attention.
Was that Daddy's car?
No. We followed them to the Rendezvous, a little restaurant, drive-in restaurant, pulled up next to them, and this midget that's sitting the other side of Lindsay, she starts yelling through our car to a car on the other side of us, obviously somebody she knew, and she's saying something about needing a dime to call her dad. And I thought, what in the world is this all about? And then she gets out of the car, and I see her head bobbing over the top of the, and I thought, this is a munchkin getting out of the car here. She walked around, and I saw her, and I thought, well, she's a little older than 12. She might be 15 or 16. I don't know. Anyway, I thought I'd make points with Lindsay, and I volunteered the dime. I said, here, kid, I've got a dime if you have to make a phone call. Had I known then that my very first dealings with Karen was to give her money, and that I was setting a precedent for the rest of my life, I might have thought it over. But I got to tell you, it was the best dime I ever spent. Now, as I say, many of you have known us since way back when, and if you knew much about me and my background before I met Karen, you must have wondered how we ever hooked up in the first place, and would have been amazed to find that we'd still be together and still be in love 50 years later. But we are, and it's been a great 50 years. Didn't start off too rosy. I got to tell you that we have made it for the last 50 years, not because of my character or commitment, but because of Karen's. She really has been a trooper. When we first met, and some of you folks are here today that were friends of Karen's and have been friends since grade school, I must admit on my part there was a little resentment because my background was a little different, and most of these people went to nice parties and they went to nice places on vacation. They went to debutante balls, for heaven's sakes, and indeed they went to college. And most of these things were very foreign to my background. I even resented her parents just a little because they were so unlike mine. Wayne and Lucy were the kind of parents that I only knew from the Donna Reed show and Father Knows Best. I didn't know them from anybody in my neighborhood. Anyway, we did get together. I brought this resentment a little bit into the marriage, and Karen had to deal with it for several years. I finally grew up, thank heaven, and realized how incredibly wrong and terribly stupid I had been about all of this. And then I brought another issue to the table, because it was of great concern to me that Jennifer and Megan and Jake have a childhood light years removed from my own. I thought one good way to grow my career was to go out and have a few brewskis after dinner with my co-workers. And I did this a lot, and many times leaving Karen at home alone or with the children until the wee hours. And I finally managed to get by all of this. And if you know Karen at all, you know her to be an incredible woman. And I'm going to tell you how incredible. For all these years of dealing with my shortcomings and of defending me to her family and her friends, she never complained. In recent times, when I have reminded her of those times, excuse me, and that I know of the sacrifices she made, she says, you know, Lloyd, it wasn't as bad as all of that, and I put it behind me. Maybe you should as well. That's been difficult. I sometimes feel I've spent the last 40 years trying to make up for some of the things that happened before, and that I may have fallen a little short in the attempt, telling me I need more time and a greater commitment. To that end, I began a project the day after our 49th anniversary that I managed to put together with the help of some very talented people this past August. Since our children and our close friends are here, I want you to listen and bear witness so that if and when the time comes, after you've heard this pledge, if you will, you can hold my feet to the fire if need be. For right now, I'd like for you to hear something called Karen's Song. Excuse me, Karen's Song. You hear it?
Yeah. Yes.
If I could relive all the minutes and hours of 10 or 12 years of my life, I'd promise to give all the kisses and flowers a good man should give to his wife. Could I but amend all the slights and the sorrow, the times when you felt so alone, my darling, I'd spend all my nights and tomorrows erasing the sadness you've known. But Karen, my Karen, let's keep all the good times and wonderful memories we made of Christmas pajamas and Hilton Head Island and traveling games that we played. Oh, Karen, my Karen, I beg you remember the beautiful places we've seen, the fun trolley rides and the swan boat that glides on the pond on the old Boston Green. If I had the chance to renew all the times when I should have brought gladness your way, I'd take you to dances and put words to rhyme to remind you I love you each day. Good friends we've known while our children have grown to become all the best they can be. Our grandchildren too, who have great things to do, but find time to love you and me. Lord, grant me the might to make everything right and atone for the sins of my past, so she might recover the husband and lover who came to his senses at last. For my precious wife,